we have the full flower moon at 2 degrees of Sagittarius, happening on May 23rd at 6:52 a.m. Pacific, which is 9:52 a.m. Eastern. Check your local time to see when this lunar event is occurring for you. Welcome to May's full lunar cycle, and one hell of a good time to have a Sagittarius full moon. Jupiter is going to be changing signs in a couple of days. We have a lot of Gemini activity going on, with Gemini being the polar opposite of Sagittarius, which of course is why we're having a full moon instead of a new moon. But the fact that one of the chart rulers, Jupiter for Sagittarius, is at 29 degrees is a pretty big deal for a full moon. Also, with this being the month of May, we've got ourselves a flower moon. And the reason why this lunar event got this name is it derives from the connection to flourishment. In other words, indigenous and historical cultures saw that flowers were in full bloom during this period. So it symbolizes a time of blossoming and progress. On a spiritual level, this could be a time where you're starting to see some growth or witnessing some sort of results when it comes down to your efforts. So we could feel stable and like things are finally taking shape. So this could be a period where we have a more positive outlook on things, and it's ultimately because we're starting to feel as though we can rely on our resources. This moon has mixed bag energy. There's a lot of favorable stuff going on at the time. There's also a little bit of edgy stuff, but for the most part, this is more of an optimistic energy that we have going on for the lunar event. And speaking of tones, the vibes on the graph are very much reflective of these transits that we have going on during this full lunar cycle. Over the next 48 hours, from the 23rd to the 25th, we'll have an abundance of social energy, good luck vibes, family and friends energy, mental vibes, a smidge of emotional sensitivity, there's some ambitious vibes going on, a little bit of solitude, and some psychic tones that pick up by the time we get to the 25th. For this reason, we'll feel more upbeat than typical. Sure, there might be some underlying feelings of just edginess around, but for the most part, we'll be in the mood to socialize, even with that smidge of solitude there around the 24th. But also, this is going to motivate us to take some action on some of our goals, or just getting out and having fun, letting our hair down. This is really going to be an incredibly sociable time. But also, there's a lot of good luck energy that's wafting through the air as well, which may lead to us taking opportunities we normally shy away from. And as a result, it will lead to some fortunate outcomes for most. But yeah, here we are at the height of this lunar cycle. Full moons are a stage of completion, and through these periods, we take stock of the past 6 months worth of work that we've done in a particular sign. So once we get to this period, we can examine what we've acquired in this sign's energy. Look at what we need to modify in order to make it solid, and let go of unhealthy habits that we really need to curb. So with this lunar event falling in the sign of the Archer, it's a time of looking at what we've created in Sagittarius energy. How far have you came since December 12th of 2023 in regards to the themes that this sign brings? One of the biggest Sagittarius themes is knowledge. So, was this a period where you decided to feed your thirst for wisdom? We hunger for knowledge with a vibe like this, and it promotes broadening our horizons. And so the education front can look different for everyone. Sometimes this could be going back to college or enrolling in college. And if it's not higher education, which Sagittarius tends to govern, maybe it's learning from mentors, coaches, or gurus, or taking online courses. Or it could have been a period of trying to understand different perspectives overall. Maybe you went through a period where you had more of a limited scope of the world, and now you're opening yourself to other viewpoints. And if it's not that, this could have been a period of unlocking universal truths as well. Speaking of stepping outside of your scope, has this been a period where you were seeking fun in your life? Are you in a place where you're wanting to be more cheerful and less pessimistic? Or maybe it's a time where you're realizing the trappings of taking things too seriously and just beginning to understand that you need humor in your life in order to have a balanced well-being. One of the lovely things about Sagittarius energy is it encourages us to take a more upbeat approach to life. Especially if you've been coming off a really harsh period in your life. We need Sagittarius energy for that reason. In the lineup of zodiac signs, Sagittarius symbolized the time after a dark night of the soul. or the particularly harsh period that we went through while we were in Scorpio energy. Of course, it's important to do the work and to release any old baggage or work on trauma that might have been holding you back and anything else that might have came from a period like that in your life. But once you do and you get to the Sag time, it's like a light at the end of the tunnel. So over these last 6 months, this could have been a time where you were working on reframing your mindset and changing your self-concept to a more positive one. That way you can start looking on the brighter side of life. So with these feel-good feelings that we get from Sagittarius, it gives us this confidence to start seizing the day. So has this been a time where you started shooting your shot? Was this a time where you were seizing opportunities and taking action on your hopes? Through this time, you could have been releasing self-doubt and directing your energy towards success. This could have been a period where you were trying to find the self-assurance to amplify your life in any way and diversify your possibilities in life. Some of this sureness that we get from this energy could have had us exploring uncharted territory. Sometimes this could look like travel. So was this a period where you're realizing that you need to do more of that in your life? Were you starting to tap into some of this uncharted territory through broadening your range of people around you? In other words, broadening your range of friends. That way you have a wider variety in your social circle. And again, coming back to knowledge, this could have been a time to explore uncharted territory through research or even taking a bigger picture perspective about things outside of your scope. Speaking of this level of expansion, was this a time where you wanted to increase your freedom levels? And by freedom levels, has this been a period where you wanted to be less restricted when it comes down to life overall? Through Sagittarius energy, we start to realize that it's important to live a life that's not so limited. Sometimes this could look like realizing that we don't want to be bogged down by excessive responsibility. And of course, I don't mean important things that we need to take care of, but sometimes we take on too much and it limits us. Sometimes we get bogged down by things that come at a cost to us, which results in having a lot of restrictions within our lives. Sometimes this could be our relationships. Sometimes this could have to do with job situations. Sometimes it could be some of our philosophies that are holding us back and keeping us from being free, or just overall being too closed off about what the world has to offer us beyond our own backyard. Sometimes this could look like the place that we're living in. Sagittarius is a travel sign just like Gemini, and the sign of the Archer has to do with long journeys. So in this case, on a more down-to-earth perspective, this could be something like relocating. Was this a period where you're realizing that the place that you live in isn't for you and is causing a lot of restrictions? So this could have been a phase to start planning on making a big move somewhere. So that way you can dwell in a place that aligns with your soul, because you're sick of being restricted and you're ready to live somewhere that matches your energy. Sagittarius energy is about believing in ourselves and knowing that things can work out. That way we take action and aim our arrow on healthy risks that'll pay off because we're ready to be in our live our life era. Let's look at these transits and see what we can expect from this lunar event. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. Also, if you're looking for a natal chart reading or intuitive coaching, the links will be in the description box below. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. The link will be in the description box below as well. So yeah, we've got quite an interesting transit set going on during this lunar event. And so some of the interesting things that are going on with both chart rulers, Jupiter and Mercury, is that they both happen to be in Taurus right now. With Jupiter being at that 29th degree of Taurus and about to go into Gemini in a couple of days, we could feel ready to get out of our comfort zone finally. So this could be a period of finally taking that leap that we need to take in order to free ourselves from any limits. And with Mercury being in Taurus too, this could be a time to work on having a fixed mindset and becoming more flexible. There also happens to be a Venus-Jupiter conjunction while both of these planets are sextile to Neptune, which is also at the 29th degree. So this could be a time of closing chapters that prevent us from realistically obtaining what we want when it comes down to our love lives, when it comes down to our finances, when it comes down to the things that we really enjoy in life, or any type of restrictive thinking that's affecting our self-esteem in some sort of way. This full moon could be a period where you're realizing it's time to take action and break those cycles. Also, with Jupiter making a harmonious alignment to Pluto, this could really be a time where we're finding it easier to transform some of these old coping mechanisms that are no longer working for us. The luminaries are in a mixed bag of alignments during this lunar event, so we might feel like our moods are fluctuating. However, there's some harmonious stuff going on at the moment too, so it's easier to shake off any moods or edginess that we might be feeling. So we'll find it easier than typical to let things roll off our back. That way we can take action on the things that we want to achieve and the things we want to enjoy, because we're just ready at this point to get things going for ourselves. So this is the second lunar event I'm looking at this month that doesn't have as much of a sting to it. Sure, there's some potent energy and some powerful energy, especially with planets being at 29 degrees, particularly an outer planet like Jupiter. But it's the kind of edge we want because we see progress with these types of things. Also, the mutable modality will feel this event more than others. So Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces between 0 to about 14 degrees of these signs. So if you have any chart points or placements within these energies, you'll feel this lunar event more than others. Anyway, I hope you all have the best full moon in Sagittarius ever. Later, and see you in the next episode.